Well, good morning, good morning. We are going live and there's nobody here quite yet. And we do have a delay, of about 30 seconds. So we'll just kind of let this go in and we'll start with, oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling everything's going my way. All the cattle are standing like statues. All the cattle are standing like statues. And they blah, 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 blah as they see me walk by. And an old weeping wheeler is laughing at me. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling everything's going my way. There, how's that to blow away the time as we're waiting for the delay to catch up. And I got a little feedback there. And Field Guy, I see you over in the chat room. Good to see you, brother. And I'm on a computer I have not used for quite a while. This is my, let's go with a live chat over there. Hey, Matt Finn, brother Matt, how are you doing? Good to see you. I am on my old laptop, which has had its issues. And I'm trying to get the live stream to show in my actual broadcast window. And it doesn't want to do that. So we'll just carry on. And I have the live chat over on another window. And so we'll go with that. Let's go with the default view there. There we are. And I think I can do that over on my streaming window. How's that for an inauspicious beginning to the show, which I haven't done for quite a while. Hey, Steph, Cuervo Queen. Good to see you. Oh, my God. Hello, Steph. And I'm just going through a couple of little technical things here so I can do this the right way, so I can see the chat and the window. So there we go. First announcement of the day. Welcome to It's Sunday. And I do not have Raini with me because we have not yet I got to put Zoom on this computer and get her to be able to patch her in on Sunday mornings. And that will also allow me, of course, guests, which we've been talking about for quite a while during the regular show once we were back in mode. So this little Sunday morning gig now is, in essence, the experimental ground to make this show work starting tomorrow night. And we'll be back on schedule with Intrepid Radio, and that's you can hear it in its audio format over on the Odyssey Radio Network. That's ODYSY1.com. Come on over, see all the goodness that is Odyssey Radio. And at the same time, it'll be broadcasting live over here on the chat room. The YouTube channel with the live chat room. So everybody who's over here in the chat, welcome this morning. It's good to see you. I have my glitchy laptop. I do not have my mic set up yet, so it's using internal mic, so I might sound a little funny compared to normal shows. I've got my lights temporarily set up where they'll work for now. And so there we go. Boom, 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 boom. There's all the technical scintillating live radio or podcast stream information you'd want to have all in one place. So let's see what we got going here. We got Field Guy. See Kyle Sullins. Good to see you, Kyle. Nice to see you. I don't know if I've seen you in here before. This is Sunday morning. Let me know for all of those of you that are gathering. Sunday morning show is a lot more informal than the daily Intrepid radio show. And so you're going to see much more informality in here. And that's okay. We have no bumps, no commercials, no um, uh, music, anything like that. So there you go. It's just we're on, and it's usually Rainy with me, but she's usually not up until about a third into the show, and then she's up and at 'em because she's taking care of kids. And let's see, Doug Stack. Uh, Doug, you've never seen this show before? Good to have you, brother. At least not today. You haven't seen it. Audrey, it's Scotty in a box. She says. So are you talking about my surroundings, or are you talking about the sound quality this morning? I am sitting where Sam and my son Sam and I, as most of you know, are down in Louisiana, working with a buddy of mine, and he's got this big, massive Oz-sized motor coach fifth wheel thing, and that's where we'll be living. And I'm sitting way in the back. I'm in the garage of the motorhome, and he's got his gaming stuff set up over there, and I've got my lights and now my laptop set up in here. So for now, this is where we'll be, at least this morning. So yes, surroundings. This is all, that's the door that goes outside from the garage. And we're sitting in the garage, and there's a bunk up on top. That's where I sleep. So it's actually the garage / Scotty's bedroom. So my son sleeps on the bunk on the other side of the wall going that way. He's up there somewhere. But my friend Pete is a tech guru. He's an IT guy. And he's got big screen TVs in so he's got 5 of them in this motor coach. This thing has a balcony, by the way, that goes out the back end, which is all folded up right now. He's got a balcony off of that side, which is open now. Looks like it's about a 12 by 8-foot balcony that pulls out. It's a porch, balcony, deck that folds out of the motor coach. He's got a TV even out there. It's underneath an awning that folds up, and you can watch TV outside. Steve Clark, good to see you, brother. I haven't seen you forever. Glad to see you here today. I hope all is well with you, buddy. And who else we got? Red Pill Queen, Red Pill Queen. Good to see you, Electra. Nice to have you here today. And I haven't seen you for a while either. So I'm glad you're here. I got to scroll back a little bit and see who all is in here. I said hey to Steph and Steve and Field Guy, Jim Dawson. Good to see you this morning. And again, for those of you who are new, this is a much more informal setting on Sundays. And this morning, even more informal than the regular show, which airs Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. West Coast time. And that's where we have our regular show, the Intrepid radio program. Sunday is just a thing we started to have a little fun. We did some tarot readings early on and just chat and catch up for the week. Then my wife joined me on these on a regular basis. But now that she's about 1,000 miles north of me, we don't have her hooked up this morning. And so wish her well. If you see her on Facebook or social media, or even here, you could just wish her a little well. She is home with 3 little kids. And she told me on, now any of you who are parents, you get this. My wife likes to keep the kids active. She likes to do things with them. And so she's got them in scouting, and she's got them in all kinds of extracurricular things at school. And sometimes the bane to my existence is doing what I do all day long and then having to drive someone to scouts or be at scouts or be at a meeting. But she pretty much does all of that on her own. And so that's kind of her thing. She's a den mother in Cub Scouts. My son Flynn is in Boy Scouts now. And so she is on Tuesday, I think. No, it's Monday this last week. She told me that every night, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think all the way through tomorrow night, Monday night, there's something every night. She had to bring our 9-year-old girl is in wrestling at school. the little ones in Cub Scouts, and then there's the different Cub Scouts for the other girl. Then my son has Boy Scouts, and then she's got meetings for the Scouts and so on. So Rainey is pretty darn busy up there while she's also taking care of kids. And now I'm not there to run kids to school or drive anybody anywhere or go pick up anything or do any errands. So as I said, say hi to Rainey if you get a chance. Wish her well. She is going to be she is quite inundated. And and she's got a lot going on. So that's why she is not with me today, because we are just not set up to bring her in yet here today. All I got to do is get a Zoom going, and we'll get her in like we've done before. Let's see what else we got. Glad to see you, Electra, says Matt Finn. Master Finn, it's good to see you, by the way. Missed your face around here. It's been a long week. As all of you know, the only reason we have preempted the Intrepid radio program all week was my travels. I had to travel out. I drove down from the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, basically, we'll call it that, out to Charlotte, North Carolina, pick up my son, Sam, and that's way out to that's 950, no, that was 1,250 miles out to the East Coast. And then we veer right back in and go down to Lake Charles, Louisiana. And that was another 1,000 miles or something like that. Now, that would seem like, you'd think, 2,000 miles, 2,200 miles. I could drive that at 70 miles an hour on the average. I could drive that in, 30 hours. Well, it took us 4 days. We had adventure every day. And I think when I finally broadcast live at the behest of Doug Stack, we broadcast live from one of the hotels along the way. It took us 4 days to get down here. And with something going on every day, wrenches in the gears. But as I told my son, hey, it's an adventure. So, shit happens and you roll with it or you let it roll over you. And so we had a pretty good time, despite all the things from breakdowns to the last one. If you don't know, I'm not sure if this was the night we broadcast. We were in a hotel in a little town called Commerce, Georgia, where the axle fell apart on the front of the big wide-hipped diesel pickup truck, 4x4. And so we had to find everybody was telling us it would take a week to 2 weeks. And we finally found a dealership local, and we crawled it over to the dealership, hoping it wouldn't fall apart on us. And they fixed it overnight, but then it took them all day to get it ready for us, to run the billing and blah, 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 blah. So we finally got back on the road. Bottom line, we're here. We got here about 3:30 in the morning on, I think it was Wednesday morning, but I'm not positive. Thursday was a wash when we got here. Friday, you know how they say when you work out, how your body will, you have 24-hour people and you have 48-hour people. And once you work out, and that means your body feels that workout or is sore either a day later or 2 days later. I have always been a 48-hour person. Usually the next day after a workout, I'm feeling pretty good. But then the second day, I'm like, oh man, what truck hit my muscles? And so that's the way I was after this 4 days of driving, sitting on my ass, basically sitting in a chair, going 70 miles an hour most of the time for 4 days. And when I wasn't sitting in a chair, I was sitting on my butt waiting for something to happen. So, yeah, and Matt, they all do blend together, all those days. Thursday morning, says Doug Stack, is when we got in. 3:30 Thursday morning. And by the way, Doug Stack came over. Doug, did you come over on Thursday evening or Friday evening? See, the days are a blur right now from this last week. Doug Stack lives about an hour from here, where we'll be living for the next 4 months. And he came over and he took us out to some place that sounded like it had a what's the not Creole, not Bayou. What's the word I'm looking for? Cajun name. There it is. Rabbitohs. And we had catfish cooking, and so on and so forth. It was breaded. I don't usually eat breaded stuff, but it was still good. And so, Doug, I want to thank you again publicly for taking Sam and I out for dinner the other night. And then we stood afterwards. He dropped us back off here at the motor coach, and we're standing outside talking. And I put a hand on his shoulder and said, Doug, I hate to tell you this. I said, I'm going to crash if I keep talking. And I said, and so he ran on his merry way. And Doug, I walked inside, plopped on the bed, and woke up the next morning. So there you go. Mike Yehudi, good to see you, brother. It's been like forever since I've seen you, Mike. I see you on Facebook now and then, and every so often you pop in here. So it's great to see you this morning. Hope I'm not missing other regulars. Steve Clark again, good to see you. He says, howdy, anybody that I might have missed. And so no Rainy this morning because she's 1,000+ miles north of me with the kids. There's my son, Sam. Let's get Sam in here. Sam, you feeling camera ready? Are you ready for your close-up, Mr. DeVille? Let's get Sam in here. My son, Sam. There he is. Look at that amazing hair.
Just woke up.
Yeah, I see that. So, and the dog always wants to be in our crotch down here. Hi, what you doing? That's Gipper. He's to describe him, he's white, kind of medium tall. He's still a puppy and a year-old pup, 6-month-old pup, whatever he is. But he is white and he's got brown markings on his face. And I'm not going to call him up here because it'd be disaster. He'll come up as soon as I say, hey, come up here. He'd come up here. Mm-hmm. And here, watch this. Come here. Come on. Oh. Can you come up on Sam? But he's, here he is. Here he comes. Come on. Let's see if he doesn't knock everything down. There he is. And he is, he's actually, he's got Australian blue heeler, Australian red heeler, and he was knocked up by some gallivanting what was it, a bull,
bulldog?
No, not a bulldog, not a pit bull, okay, you can get down now. There you go. Getting him up is easy, getting him down is the hard part. Hey, come here, here we go. Maybe he can, here, come on, why don't you come over to the side? Come on over, I want to show you off. I want to show your face. Come on.
I think you're trying to play with him.
Oh, yeah, I guess. You can't just come up from the side, can you? So, you know, still got box of rocks for brains, but he's learning. He's a pup. And so he's Australian red heeler, Australian blue heeler, and boxer, I think. So he's pretty cool. He's got the big, sharp, pointy ears like the heelers. And he's all white with a big, round brown spot on his back. Perfect. And brown markings on his face and ears. So he's pretty cool dog. I don't dare shift my computer because it's still on the blink, and so I may end up shutting us all down. So yeah, almost less cooperative than the kids. You know, the thing about him, if you call him, he will gladly crawl all over you. Sean Bowden, good to see you, brother. Nice to have you in the chat room. Haven't seen you for a little bit. And so the dog, he's like a kid. He's like a kid only in the sense that they don't always do what you tell them to do. And then they forget the next time after you've said it 100 times. The next time doesn't matter. So constantly trying to crawl on us. Constantly trying to do so, and so you know we're doing a little bit of training to try to keep them off. But so that's Pete's dog is here. What are you doing? Huh? You gonna come up here? Yeah. So then he walks that way under the table. So what are you doing down there? There he is, and his name is Gipper. He's the Gipper. Yeah, that's you. Yeah, his ears went up. So he's our friendly neighborhood Yeah, the new dark studio. Hey, Russ, Odyssey Radio, Russ. That is the boss man over at Odyssey Radio. Everybody say hi to Odyssey Radio. That would be Doug. I'm sorry. Russ is behind the Odyssey Radio moniker there. And it's good to see you this morning. And Matt says, I hope you do well down there on your new adventure, Captain. We want you and the family on that farm. Me too. So we went out actually yesterday was the first day we really got to work, Saturday. And there's a lot of this job that I do is the same thing I did when I was in Wyoming and Utah. There's a lot of just knocking on doors, going to tell people, hey, we are here to help you with your roofing problems. And of course, this is after all the storms. Doug, what were the names of the storms again? I know you had Delta was the second one that came through. What was the first one that came through? Last August is when the big hurricane hit down here. And of course, Louisiana, Gulf Coast. Either Doug or, there it is, Laura and Delta. And it hit Lake Charles pretty heavy. You drive around the town here. And now it's been August since Laura hit. And then Delta came and finished them off, a month later? And so you can see all that time and all those months in between. And you go driving down even just the main drag. And there's all kinds of businesses still closed and boarded up with walls bent and roofs all tarped and piles of not garbage like trash. I'm talking tearing apart things that have been torn apart and gathered up and cleaned up, interiors that have been torn. And there's piles of these sitting in front of every one of these businesses as you go down the main drag. And you go into the neighborhoods and it's the same way. Some houses look like they haven't even been touched. Other houses, I was in one of our houses yesterday that we are doing the roof repair and the interior repair. And he had his roof replaced already by our company. And, but the interior absolutely destroyed. And, but they're stripping down the whole interior and his insurance covered it all. So that's what we do. And I went from his house in his neighborhood. I took Sam and we walked about a mile going up and down just the one street and knocked on every door that had a tarp on it or that had damage that looked like it hadn't been repaired. And so that's what we do. And we work with a construction company out here that builds homes from scratch, and they do everything. So they're not just roofers that are, chucking a truck, driving around from out of town. They do your roof. And I ran into a couple of guys, an older fellow yesterday, an elderly man who said he had his house wasn't finished repair yet. You saw the tarps on the top. And he said, I have 2 rental homes that I need done. And he says, I prepaid one of these guys, get my down payment. And he says, I haven't seen him in 2 months or heard from him. So there's things like that going on. So we come down and that's what we're doing. Is we're working with people to, it will hopefully be good on the pocketbook when we're done, earn a little extra money and start pushing that toward, as Matt alluded to, the farm. So yeah, they all got hammered down here. I keep hearing that from people. Debris, that's a good way to put it, Matt. It's debris that's been cleaned up and it's all swept into piles, pushed into piles. But then the whole area looks like, somebody wrote it hard and put it up wet. So that's just still the way it looks down here. Yeah, it is, Steph. And I don't know, some of these guys, maybe they're honest people, but maybe they bite off more than they can chew. They're little fly-by-nights. We were driving down the neighborhood in the pickup truck very slowly, looking at tarped roofs coming from the house that we were working on. And we were just driving slow. I was looking for a place to park. And a pickup came around me and stopped in front of me. And the guy got out. And he smiled and waved right away. He says, I don't want you to be, scared. He says, I'm just coming in to tell you I do cabinet work. He says, if you need any cabinet work done, he said, I'm assuming by your truck and, everything that you are down here working on people's houses. And he was offering his services, gave us a card. So I think it's that way down here right now. And when you have that, of course, Susie Q, good morning. Good to see you. Hang on. I need a drink of coffee. It's cold already. So that's what we're doing down here, as many of you know. That's going to be my, when we were in ministry, we would say, when I was a youth pastor, I was a full-time youth pastor for a church down in Detroit, but I also was the creative director of at first a little ad house and print house, and then I moved on to Guardian Photo, which was, this is how long ago that was. 1991, I went to work for them, and they were the nation's largest independent photo finisher. This is pre-digital, where you brought your roll of film over to Target or the drugstore, wherever, and dropped it off to have your pictures done. We were the nation's largest photo finisher, other than only one other person above us, Fuqua, which was owned by Kodak, of course. And so, but when I was out there, I worked as a creative director for this company. And at the same time, I was the youth pastor. And we used to say, we used to make an illustration, I guess. We'd talk about in ministry. We'd say, I might be ministering, but sometimes I have to go do my other job in order to support what I do. And we used to refer to the Apostle Paul because the Bible tells us he was a tent maker. And so he would go off and spend time making tents for a living to put money in his pocket. And then he'd go back out and do his missionary work and so on. Now, it's not purely that way, because you all know I do my graphic design and I do all my illustration work and stuff like that. And now augmenting that, I'm doing this. And because hopefully that will help stiffen up the coffers a bit, as they say. So Morgan Snow, good to see you. North Carolina is kind of cold lately. I was in North Carolina earlier in the week. Sunday, I think it was a week ago today. Might have been Monday. Can't remember. It all blends together. So, Morgan, what part of North Carolina are you in again? I went to Charlotte, Lincolnton. We may have had this conversation once before. I just don't remember. So, yeah, so we went to Charlotte, passed around Asheville. You're in Raleigh, okay. Oh, yeah, I remember that conversation, because if you were in my age group and you grew up watching the Andy Griffith Show, I can't whistle, but that show, where Ron Howard, famous movie producer and director, got his start as Opie, the young son of the widowed Andy Taylor, the sheriff of Mayberry. But Raleigh was always where they said, I'm going to go drive up to Raleigh today. So that was the big city they had to always go to, Raleigh. So Mayberry, there you go. Love you all and see you in all the usual places. You taking off, Audrey? It's only 7:30 in the morning where you are out on the left coast. So you have a good day if that's you going. Steve says it's snowing and windy here and supposed to be that way until next Sunday. I have heard tell from back home up, which is straight north of here, a straight line up to Minnesota, Wisconsin. Well, up to the Minneapolis area. And we're, of course, across the border in Wisconsin. And it's wind chills of about 30 below zero yesterday. And so Oh, there you go. Kevin Miller, only 12 below, just west of Minneapolis. There you go, Kevin. Bookworm. Yeah, Kevin, I talked to my wife yesterday and kids, and she said she thought it was about 15 below zero, but with the wind chill, it was between 20 and 30 below zero, where we were east of the Twin Cities, over across the St. Croix River into Wisconsin. So 6 below this morning in central Illinois. We're sunny, but at 24 degrees, says Matt Finn. I'm going to act like a southerner for just a minute and just say, it's cool down here. It's really cold. I had to put on a sweater yesterday. It hit 65 degrees and hazy sun. It's supposed to be colder this week, though. I hear it's going to get icy. They thought a little icy, maybe even snow down here. We're talking Gulf Coast, folks. We're talking a couple hours west of New Orleans. And we're just, what are we, about less than an hour from or 27 miles from the Texas border here. So it gives you an idea. Wow, I feel like I'm in the Bahamas compared to you guys. We hit 26 degrees finally today, says Steph. That's nice. Yeah, it was 65 here yesterday. We were walking around in our shirt sleeves. How do you people live up there? So, sunny and 39, putting that sweater on. Yes, ma'am, Susie Q. Kyle says Canada is so cold. Are you in Canada, Kyle? Eh? So, yeah, it's cold up there. Up in Minnesota, Wisconsin, where I'm from, you drive about 6 hours straight north, you hit the Canadian border. We're down below Winnipeg, So, yep, you're in Canada. What part of Canada are you in, Kyle? What, Ontario, Saskatchewan? I don't even know if I know all my provinces. Ottawa? Is Ottawa a city or a province? Ontario. Okay. Yeah, it's directly north of the Minnesota, Wisconsin area. So, what's the song? Jimmy Radcliffe was only 20, and we thought him an old man. He said he'd fathered children by the score, by girls back home in Winnipeg and girls in Calais, and he swore by God there'd be 100 more. There you go. Hey, Dark Huntress, how you doing? Good to see you. Hello, by the way. Nice to have you here. I could probably do some card readings today. My cards are out in my briefcase way out there. I haven't done card readings on Sunday morning for a long time. But we may do that. And I know now, by the way, I know I pushed the memberships here. Join. You see the join button down below the window. It's been a couple of weeks since we've done anything special for our members, just because of the transition I've been making down here to Louisiana. But we'll start up with some special things, some coffee hours, and do some tarot readings and things like that. And we'll get that rolling. The last couple of weeks, of course, and of course, the 2 weeks before that, 3 weeks before that, I had COVID. And so I was just down like with a bad cold and a headache and sinus, no fever. But so I was down for a good solid week, and then another week of feeling like I got run over by a truck, and a mail truck, so it was small truck. Yeah, you can hit the join button and become a member of this show, the Intrepid Radio Program, which is not what this show is. This is just our Sunday morning casual show. But if you want to take a look, by the way, here on the channel, you can go back and there's at least 360, I believe, or more archives of our daily Intrepid radio show. And if you hit the join button, you can become a member for $2, $5, or $15 a month. And it'll show you all the different things you can get for that. So take a look at that. If you want to become a member of the channel, if you're new here and you don't know if you want to become a member, that's okay. You may have to watch the show a little bit. or watch some of the archives. But if you'd like to join, come on in. Hey, Kelly, good to see you. Nice to have you here. And yeah, thank you, Matt Finn. And did you look? Yeah, Queen, it started with a throbbing headache. And I went, oh, and it was a headache that was associated with my sinuses. So I thought I had a sinus infection. And I went, man, I think I have a sinus infection today. And I got up and I was a little dizzy from it because you know how it, like a head cold. And then I realized that I had no sense of taste. And so that's when I thought, oh, I'll bet I wonder if this is COVID. And so we took my fever, or took my temperature. I had no fever. The whole time I had it, I was normal temperature. I didn't have any lung issues, which I thought I might have because I'm a former smoker, as you all know. And I thought, well, maybe it would hit my lungs and things like that. Never had a lung problem, never had a big cough. I didn't get a cough till after it was over, and have kind of a little bit of a dry cough I've always had. And so I've noticed that a bit. But so there you go. COVID for me was a sinus headache, a sinus cold, a head cold, and loss of taste for about 10 days when it finally came back. And it lasted about 2 weeks. And that's what my doc said, in about 2 weeks, you should be out of this. And of course, that ended over 2 weeks ago. No, 2 weeks ago today, I was out of it completely. And the doc said, you're not contagious, nor can you get it for at least, we're pretty sure, 90 to 120 days, maybe even up to 2 years. So we don't know yet. So, yeah, that's funny, Doug, isn't it? That all the smokers Doug knows who got COVID, didn't knock them down at all. Now, I will tell you this, I had my fears of COVID at the beginning. Now, I wasn't like shaking in fear or anything like that. We must stay inside, close the shutters, pull the drapes, don't go outside. And if you go outside, oh my God, wear a mask. And we weren't even sure about masks back then. We're talking a year ago, February, when we all started really learning about this. And I was in that high susceptibility category. I'm 60. I have diabetes and I have heart disease. And so we thought, I'm going to go out and sniff the air and die. And of course, back a year ago was when they were telling you could pick COVID up off of surfaces, just contact. And then they found out a few months, 2-3 months later, you can't pick it up by contact. See, we still don't know everything we need to know about this thing. They've got a handle on some of it. So when I got COVID, I thought, I don't feel all that bad. I got a big headache and so on. Let's see how it carries out. And it was fine. Smoke cannabis, I will never get cerveza bug. So I don't know what that is. Cannabis, I know what it is. Every now and then. So he got a second. Morgan says her son got his second Moderna jab. Had some side effects, scared the hell out of me. Yeah, I know people who've gotten their shots, and we know of people. My wife's massage company business, Two Loons Massage. Her partner in that, her aunt got the shot and went into a coma the next day and died. Now, I don't know the details of all that, but I also have my daughter, Bryn, her father-in-law is a physician down in North Carolina. It might be South Carolina. He might be in the Charleston area. I can't remember. But he was one of those practices that was working on testing, doing all kinds of things about the virus and testing the vaccines. And I had a conversation with him on the phone a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, "Yeah," he says it's okay to get the shot. He says we haven't seen any issues, none, and he says we're supposed to diligently record any side effects, and he said, we haven't seen any. And I told him about Rainey's partner's aunt, and how her aunt had died. And he said he would like to hear more about that. And I didn't have any information for him. He said, I'd like to hear more about that. He said, because we like to catalog these things and find out what's going on. So that's his thing. But, he said pretty much, he says, if you get the shot, you get the shot. He said, if you don't, you don't. So you don't have to get the shot. He said, and basically the shot doesn't prevent you really from getting it, COVID. It doesn't last but the season. We don't know what all the side effects are. So all of that is the baggage that's on the vaccines. I asked him as a physician, I said, what's your take on the whole COVID thing? I said, is this it forever? Is this as everybody likes to put out there, the new normal, which I hate that. This is not normal. This will never be the new normal, wearing masks everywhere and doing all the precautions. You know why? It's not the new normal. It's a parenthetical in the normal, if you will. Normal, COVID, parentheses, normal will pick up. Again, this is not the new normal. This is the temporary normal. You can tell people, if everybody says, this is our new normal. Tell them, no, that's not our new normal. It's our temp normal. And I asked him directly, I said, do you think this is with us forever now? It's like, I don't know, cloning dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. Now we have dinosaurs forever roaming the earth again. And he said, no. And he said, I think within 4 years total time, he says, it's not going to exist anymore as a problem. And he took that he kind of extrapolated data from the Spanish flu 100 years ago. And he said it really takes 3 to 4 years for total herd immunity to set in, and for a virus like this to die off, especially when it's a pandemic, to die off as a concern like we have now. Now, I don't think we'll be in this temporary normal for 4 years. He just said in about 4 years, you're going to see this probably not be a thing anymore, even though we'll have straggling things going on. Steph says, right, that's the point. If it's not FDA approved, why should I have to sign something not holding you responsible if you screw my life up by making me get it? Well, there it is. That's a big question. And should it be required by anybody to get the vaccine? I don't think so. So the AIDS scare too. I remember the AIDS scare. Lived through all of that in the early 80s. So Doug Stack has a big dead one in my front yard. Feel free to take it. What do you got in your front yard that's dead, field guy? I missed something along the way there. Field guy says, mine is coming back. What's coming back for you? Did you have COVID? Are we talking COVID here, field guy? Oh, a tree. Big dead tree. Yeah. There's a lot of those laying around here too. Hey, let's take a 1-minute break. I am going to go warm up my coffee because it's cold and I want to sip a hot coffee. You guys sit there, talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back with a little coffee that's warmed up. So sit tight. I'll be right back. I'm back with my warm coffee. All right. There we go. Hey, I want to show off a little something. Remember I told you that Doug came over, Doug Stack, right over here in our own chat room. Our own Doug came over and took my son and I out to dinner because he lives not far from here. And he brought me a little gift, which we have not tried any of these yet, Doug. He brought me about a half a dozen jars of these Bayou Beth's jelly. And they come in jars like this. And is it your mom that does these, Doug? Bayou Beth's pepper jelly. It's green. Look at that. It's green jelly. That is made with jalapenos, green bell peppers, sugar, vinegar, and pectin. We got the raspberry sugar jalapeno serrano, habanero vinegar, pectin, jelly. That's that one. We got to try these on something here very soon. We also have Bayou Beth's jelly. It's a Louisiana crawfish boil. It's got jalapenos, cayenne pepper, bell pepper, red pepper flakes, vinegar, sugar, and pectin. That's all in that one. That's the crawfish boil. And there's 3 other ones. I don't know if they're all the same as these, but thank you again, Doug, for these. We haven't used them yet, but I'll have to try some on some toast or a bagel, and we'll see. I'm sure it's a good garnish for other things as well. So thank you, Doug. Karen Steele, you're more concerned about the side effects of the vax than the flu itself. My wife is very concerned about that. We have really been in that mode of does any of us get the vaccination? And I think I want it to be a little more tried and true before I put my kids through that. Yeah, eat them on air. I'll have to do it. Yeah, same here, Dark Huntress. And so, my daughters are very much into, the vaccine. They're very much on that end of the political spectrum as well. Isn't that funny how the political spectrum seems to be dictating almost who's taking and who's not taking the vaccination? That's very interesting. And I'm talking as a generalization. But my daughters they planned a trip to Disney World for all of us. And it's already paid for. The plane reservation's already made for September. And to take all the kids down, the 3 little kids down, and Raini and I down to Disney World. And they were very concerned if we don't get them vaccinated. So hopefully that will be a thing that will die out a little bit. Your wife got the vaccine. I asked if she had life insurance. Doug, how did she take to the vaccination? When Trump was in office, they didn't want to take the vaccination at all. That's very true. So that's an interesting thing. So, and I'm not going to get into any politics on this show. Oh, you know what I was going to do? I was going to grab my cards out there. I haven't done a tarot reading since the last time we did one on this show. So I'm not sure if I'll do any today. I'm not set up here for it. I don't have a tabletop in front of me. And so we'll save that for another time. And I think we're going to make that part of the perks of being a member of the channel. If you want to get some tarot readings, we'll announce them, but it'll be members only kind of thing. And by the way, I want to thank all of you who have become members, have joined and have a membership. Some of them it's as simple as a $2 a month membership, $5, $15, and there's different perks you can get. You can go look those up when you hit the join button. It'll tell you what choices there are. So Field Guy says, I hope my mom survives the 2nd dose. That's the one that gets you. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. And I don't know what to tell you about it because I'm not in the know. I just read what's put out there and you see things from both sides of the issue. So here, cheers. So what's going on in everybody's life? I put up a little graphic this morning that I lifted from Ruben Fasthorse off of his Facebook page. And it says this. Let me get to it here. It says, talk about your blessings more than you talk about your problems. That's all it said. And I put that up either this morning or last night. And there's a few comments on there. Interesting to see what people have to say. One of my friends, Charles Filson, said, in the abstract, I agree. Practically speaking, this is a great way to piss off your friends. Ain't that the truth? Talk about your blessing. And you know what made me think of putting that up? It was after I had seen it and I took a screenshot of it. I thought, one of these days I'm going to put that up. And I saw a good friend of mine. He doesn't watch this show. We've been friends for 20 years plus. And he's gone through some hard times. Some of them were things that he that were of his own making. Some of them were other things happening. He's about my age. He's a year younger than I am. He got an injury. He's a former Marine, big tough guy, 6'7", huge man, and good-looking dude. All of these things that would seem to be very good things. But for the last 6 months especially, I've noticed every post of his is he's sad, tired, broken, got nothing left. Hope you, and while we all come in and we say, "Hey, brother, let's get some scotch." You know, we're all behind you. You're a brother. And we care for you. There's a point where you look at all that and you say, if I dwelled only on the bad things that were happening to me, what would you hear from me? I talk about the bad stuff in my life. I talk about our misadventures getting here. But I hope you also see that I try to look for the silver lining in things. Sometimes life is all about all the negatives. We can bullet point the list of negatives in our lives. Be they negatives that we have experienced. What, Beth? No, I am not pregnant. What did I miss there? Here, hang on to my thought. I have some news, said Steph. Oh, that's it. You're pregnant. Is it a boy or a girl, Steph? And LOL, not quite. It's going to cost me some money. Anyway, you can see, even by our conversations, by the things we talk about on this show, the things we talk about here on Sunday mornings in a more informal sense, we've all got negatives. Life is, I used to say rather cynically, life is a piece of shit. If left to itself, it will decay. It will become, it's entropic. It will decay and it will rot, and eventually you will die. Unhappy, broken, sad. That's life. That's the way life works. Life is a beautiful thing when it starts, but the moment you're born, it's the countdown till the day you die. And so entropy sets in. Our bodies, while growing, are already starting to decay. And it's like I would use the illustration of doing the dishes. If I had a beautiful, gorgeous, sterile, shiny, sparkly, clean kitchen, and I cooked a meal, the pot and a pan and the utensils and a plate and a glass, and then threw those all in the sink. Now, what if I did that every day and never washed those things? What would happen? Eventually, you'd run out of things to eat on and cook with, and you'd pile up dishes all over. The place would become a mess. And same with your house. If you never cleaned it up, picked up, maintained it, you'd soon be walking ankle and shin deep in crap and junk. Life, that's not a perfect illustration, but life all by itself and left to its own decays. The universe is entropic. While it is still expanding, they say it's already decaying at the center. So, we could be billions of years off from that, but you get the idea. So the big question is, what do you do with a decaying life? A life that is subject to entropy? Well, like I started by saying, life's a piece of shit when you think of it. It's like the Monty Python song, always look on the bright side of life. I can't whistle. Life's a piece of shit when you think of it. And that's how the song goes. And I thought, I adopted that. And I said, yes, life is a piece of shit. It's what you do with it. And what you do with the circumstances. And how you adjust your own feelings, your own attitudes, your own everything about the entropy of life that matters and what makes life worth living. I could take all the events of my life that are negatives and like I say, by this show, watch the news, listen to your favorite news talk shows, podcasts, and all of that. There are very few of them that are just positive. I know Teresa Dentone and her cohorts, they have a podcast that is very positive. It's all about self and building self, inner self, metaphysics. But for the most part, you see things, and everybody, we have this to gripe about, this to complain about. If it's not politics, it's health, it's family, it's relationships, it's my muscles hurt, my bones hurt, my surgery hurts, and this and that, and this and that, and this and that. And so if we have, by the way, I just came up on my screen. It is 47 degrees here today, and from the looks of things, partly sunny. Just thought I'd let you know. It's 47 at 10 o'clock in the morning, Louisiana time. I don't know how you Northerners all put up with all that snow and ice up there. So, Morgan Snow, yeah, you said it. Life is an adventure with different chapters. Morgan, I look at your life, and there are things that would sink some people. There are hurts, there are pains, there are things we have to adjust to. All those things happen in our life. And if we focused on just those things, what would we become? Maybe to our friends I think that there are people who are way to the one side of that scale on the good, way to the other side on the bad, and the the average people who are right in the middle that just kind of experience things. And sometimes are this way or that way. But when you've got somebody that focuses just on their negatives, what's going to happen to that person? They forget their blessings. They forget the goodness. Now, maybe sometimes it's just conversational, and they'll go, oh, I know what my blessings are, and I thank God for my blessings, or whoever for my blessings. It's just the way I talk right now. But if you don't focus on your blessings, you're going to have the shittiness of life will bury you along the way. And so what about Steph says, yes, I'm a badass biker bitch. Oh, sorry, Babkey? I don't know what a Babkey is. So she sends me a list of what grandparents are called around the world. Okay, that was something a little different. Morgan is strong. I agree with you, Susie. And now I'm interested in some of it. So, Matt, you're never going to believe what was on the list, says Steph. He's waiting. He's waiting for it. Matt, it's sassy. You can call a grandparent sassy. So I said, claimed. That's going to be my name now. Not a grandma. I'm sassy. You're sassy. Hey, I know a lot of sassy and sexy grandmas out there, Steph, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Now, you're going to be a sexy grandma. And as Raini said, one of these days I'll be a sexy grandpa, and I'll gladly take that. So, friggin' meant to be. Beth Kirkham says, Doug, so jelly. Here it's holy moly. I can't feel my face degrees. So we got a lot of activity going on out there. So ignore the sounds coming from outside the ad hoc studio here. So there it is. Life is going to be a piece of shit, or you make it what you want it to be. And this is where my whole moniker with the 20 years from now, you'll regret more the things you didn't do than the things you did do. So cast off from the safe harbor, set your sails to the trade winds, explore, dream, discover. The reason I have that and I've adapted that is life is meant to be lived. It's meant to be enjoyed to its fullest. And if you don't do that, if you are jumping from thing to thing to thing to constantly survive, to constantly find a way to not lose the hovel you're in this month. And of course, yeah, a lot of it does go back to our finances in this culture. You can't just go chop down trees anywhere and build a log cabin. And you got to have stuff to begin with to do that anyway. You got to have axes. You got to have lathes. You got to have all kinds of even hand tools to do something like that. A little skill, a little know-how. So, what did Field say now? I missed something. What did he say now? I see Beth Kirkham's response to something. I don't know what he said. Hey, Corey Blake. Cold front passing on through the valley in the mountains, he says. Good to see you, Corey. And so, on this topic, we can be negative because negatives are easy. I'll bet you right now, if I asked any of you over in the chat room to enlist your negatives, we'd have lists coming out our asses. And here's my negatives. Here's the bad thing that happened to me. There's this, there's that, there's the other thing. And why, thank you, Susie. My wife's a MILF, so that works for me. So think of your quick list, your top 10. Oh, I'll bet you all of us could come up with a top 10 list of grievances and problems and things that go wrong and the negatives in our life, from the faucet is dripping to the axle broke on the front end of my car, the my grandma died, I have COVID, I have a chronic back injury or chronic back pain due to an injury, I've lost a spouse, I've lost a child, that guy cut me off in the lane, and I had to jam on the brakes and F him, I'm going to do my thing and I'm going to bellyache about him. That woman yelled at me at the Target to put my mask on. I opened up the new box of Fruit Loops and found out that they were stale, so I had to run them back. I went through the drive-thru and they forgot to put in my French fries. It's a negative. So you can see from the banal, silly, stupid negatives that we encounter every day to the major negatives. We've all got them. There's that bullet point. You put up you even make it your top 5. I'll bet you it'd all be really easy for all of us to come up with 5 or 10 because we talk about our negatives all the time. Like I said, when I was younger, I used to talk with my buddies from college. It was chicks and cars and whatever else, movies, cool stuff, travels. And the older I get, those same friends I've been talking to for 40 years now, it's like every new time we talk, every few months, it's like, who's missing a new organ this month? What's my latest surgery? What's my latest ache and pain? I could sit here and go on about, and I mentioned it already, driving for 4 days, and it only took 4 days because we had all kinds of mishaps along the way this week of getting here. And I'm that 48-hour person, like after a workout. 2 days after that, like Thursday, Friday, I was physically felt like wreckage. Lower back muscles, my hip where I had the surgery, aching, feeling just worn out, like I'd been hit by a truck. And it's much better today. Yesterday, it was better than Friday. And so I could complain about that. My body's older, so things happen. Getting older is not for pussies. You're right, Morgan. Oh, you didn't say the whole word. You got the dots in there. So you're absolutely right. It's not. And but you know what? Happens to us all. Life is entropic. We're all going to get older. I sit here now, I could sit here today and say, wow, I want to do this and this over the next 10 years. You know what? In 10 years, I'll be 70. And what happens at 70? Can I be a healthy, happy, energetic 70? Well, I'm not a healthy, happy, energetic 60. And I only say that lightheartedly because I am happy. I've got some energy. My lack of energy, some of that is due to my own not making sure I have more energy. Do you know when you're 60 years old, you don't have to be old or elderly. You can do things to make sure your physical shape is there. You know what happens though? The older we get, we lose the motivation. It's like, oh, that hurts more. It's like I say, I could go out and lift weights the way I used to when I was in my 20s and 30s. I could do that today, but you know what? Hurts more. I could drive across country just like I could when I was 22 years old. Only back then I could party after that. Now I got to sleep for 2 days. It just hurts more. It's my body's aging. Are there things you can do to counteract that? Sure, there are. You make it a positive. So, back to the original point. We need to talk about our blessings. Talk about your blessings more than you talk about your problems. How much do you do that? How much do you catch yourself in the negative? Because the negative is all the things that, it can be just a story about something that happened to us. I can't believe this guy that stole my parking spot when I was pulling in, or blah, blah, blah. So, I'm looking through some of the posts here just to see if what some people put in there. So, yeah, it hurts more. You're 24 in your mind, Corey. That's good to know. I'm 26 in your mind. I'm older than you. So 26 and a half in my mind. There's lots more positions than that. I know what you really meant. Couldn't resist though. Oh, I missed something sassy there, Steph. You're trouble and I like it, says Matt. So yeah, my wife right now, little beaten down with some physical stuff going on. Just, autoimmune stuff, Hashimoto's, thyroid stuff. It's knocking her on her butt. She's got some kind of thing where she has to have some treatments done. And now she said, no, I don't want to do it because you're gone for a while. And she said, I don't really feel like doing it right now. And I don't know what all her reasons are, but it scares her a little bit. But it's things that I think it's the stuff with her blood. Her blood iron is way down and has been for a long time. And she's drained of energy. And my wife my wife forces herself to go and move and be motivated. Why do you think she does all these things with our kids? She does them to be motivated, to not be a lump on a log. And she does this despite not always feeling good. I think if I think back over the last 5 years, there's rarely a morning where I say to my wife, hey, how you doing this morning, honey? And she's like, I don't feel good this morning. She's been that way for years. Now, that not feeling good, it's not like a cancerous illness or anything. That's just chronic. This isn't working right. I don't feel good today. I'm not tip top. I'm a little dizzy today. Those things, they plague us. And sometimes you say, how can we counteract that? Is that all a part of growing old? Is that all a part of life? So Corey says, this is disconcerting to hear these common problems people are encountering. Yeah, it is, Corey. Everybody's got them. And my whole point with this, if you may have heard the beginning of this little thread I'm on right now or not, is that we need to count our blessings or talk about our blessings more than we do our problems, because, and all these things come up is because we all can, without hardly being prompted, talk about all our problems, because that's what life is. And yes, Doug, you are absolutely right. Rainy is the Virgin Mother. So, well, no, I can't say she's a virgin. I took part in that. So, and I partake of that whenever I can. So, it is what it is. My wife's no virgin, and I say that unabashedly without shaming her in any way. And thank God she's no virgin. Mm. But figuratively speaking, I see where you're going with that. Corey says, I just want to stay alive. I hear you, brother. Me too. I want to stay alive, but I want my life to be meaningful. I want it to be adventurous. I want it to be fun. Who said, this is going back into some of the stuff we were talking about, the gift of the serpent. We're talking about Gnosticism a couple of weeks ago. If you take the Bible and tip it upside down and dump out all the contents and start ruffling through it, what if the story seems like it should be the opposite? Is that because God doesn't exist? Is it because he doesn't exist the way we think he did? I'm using the male pronoun, and I don't care. He, she, it, they. Is the way we were taught in Judeo-Christianity, the way God and the universe really is, the way life really should be. What if it's different than that? And the reason I bring that up is because sexuality in the Bible, from the get-go, from the Garden of Eden, sexuality was the taboo. And so when you see all of that and you start trying to break that down and understand it theologically, so you can make a practical application, you start wondering if the story is something different. And maybe life isn't about being cursed from the first Adam. And if you look at it theologically, even from the sense of the kinsman redeemer in the Jewish mindset, the Messiah, the Christ, to Jesus in the New Testament and so on, if he really is the Messiah, the Christ, you look at that and you say, is that what it's meant by the first Adam and the second Adam? The first Adam was Adam. Sin came into the world. The second Adam is the coming of the Son of Man, the Messiah, the kinsman redeemer, the one who would take away the sin of the world. The kinsman redeemer, the one who was one of us, redeemer. Is that what that all means? Or are we sinful creatures? It's like we just watched the movie Rob Roy the other night. Again, I was reminded of a line from that movie. My son and I watched it. Great movie, by the way. Liam Neeson, Jessica Lange, and other luminary actors in that. Great historical movie, Rob Roy. And in one of the scenes, Rob's wife, Jessica Lange, is raped by the bad guy in the film. And one of the guys comes up to her afterwards and says, they say it's not a sin if you don't take pleasure. And she, of course, scowled at him, and he walked away sheepishly. So the idea being, we were taught in certain circles and down through literalist Orthodox Christianity that sex was a sin. And if you took pleasure in sex, that was the sin part. But if we have a creator, an originator, who made us the way we are, sex is pleasurable. Now, is it pleasurable for an animal? I think that there is probably the lower animals, if you will, There's probably pleasurable sensations with it. But I think pleasure comes with intellect. It comes with uh, having the ability to think, the ability to reason. Pleasure comes from that. We can decipher pleasure. And yeah, Field Guy's right. God made us horny. Blame him. There's more truth to that than you might think in that flippant little remark. I agree with you. And so, and there's pleasure in it. How many of you, I realize some people have problems, but think in your own experiences. Sex is a pretty cool thing. It's a lot of fun. So why would the church have ever have taught that sex is not, that the pleasure in sex is sinfulness? So you look at these things, and I don't know exactly where I was going with that point, other than to say it wasn't about to talk about sex per se. It was to say that there's a negative in anything. But what if that negative really needs to be flipped on its head and say, that's what man said. That was what people who tried to put control over other people said. And the reason I brought up the example of the Garden of Eden and sex and all of that is because that's the root of it. You take that story and say there's supposed to be no pleasure in life. Women shall bear children in labor, and men will toil in the field to feed themselves. Yeah, life's full of hard work. That's not a secret to any of us. But can you take pleasure in your hard work? Trying to get my children right now, those of you who are parents, getting your children to understand that, cleaning up after yourselves, helping pick up the house, helping wash a dish in something shouldn't be a task that creates consternation in you. It should be something that you take pleasure in, because you know what? You're keeping your place clean. You're contributing. You're doing the things that help build. And you can do things with a cheerful attitude. It doesn't have to be a negative attitude. So, all of these things. It was their depopulation tactic, says Karen. Even back then. Yeah, you're probably right. Steph says, I can throw poop if instigated enough, I guess. Yeah, we all can. So it's, yeah, and Kelly Moran, you're absolutely correct. The older we get, it hurts to have fun and work. Yeah, it does. It hurts a little bit more. And this all stemmed off of that. Can we be doing things to help our bodies stay only for a certain amount of time? If I live to be, should I live so long, if I should live from my lips to God's ears, if I make it to 90, I'm going to be an elderly man. We look at Christopher Plummer, who we all knew in the movies, who just died at, what was he, 90? He was born in 29, so he was 93 years old, something like that, 92 years old. Just passed away. We say that's a full life. But look at him from The Sound of Music to the last movie he did. You look at him and you see how he's aged. Our bodies age. Our bodies age. Our minds age. How do we make life happy and keep it fulfilled? Otherwise, it's a bullet list of bad things. Count our blessings. My blessings? I can still have sex. That's a blessing. I have my children. I have my wife, who I love immensely. I have the ability to, even though it's hard work, the ability to come down here to Louisiana. And I got to go to Louisiana to work, to try to make some money, to do this thing, to try to build a house. And you can look at the negative side of that. Oh, the drive was shitty. We had trouble every day of one form or another. We had this and that, and my body aches. And oh man, I'm in a cramped space. We got 3 grown men living in 425 square feet of living space. Even though it's nice and big and spacious, it's still a camper, a big mobile fifth wheel. You can look at it and you can look at all the negatives. You can say, I'm doing this great thing. A big negative for me was leaving my family. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to go away for 4 months. But here I am. I've talked to them every day on video. My little girl wants to talk to me every day. My son, I didn't talk to him yesterday. He went over to his buddy's house and, had an overnight. He's 11. But my kids and my wife talk to me every day, sometimes twice and 3 times a day. They'll call up. And that's the beauty of technology nowadays. It's not like it was 200 years ago where you're going to pioneer out in the West. You don't know if you'll ever see your family again. We get to talk every day and see each other's faces every day and on camera. And so for me, the positive is I'm down here looking for a way to better ourselves. And yes, there's hard work. Yeah, there's sore muscles. Yeah, there is mental consternation. Yes, there is emotional distress, being separated. But at the same time, I count my blessings. We're all healthy, somewhat. We all have natural stuff going on, but we're healthy. We're working toward a goal. The goal is we want to build this shipping container home on some property and hopefully take a big stab at that by this summer. That's why I'm here. So we look at them and go, that's a blessing. There are hard things to do along the way, but hard things don't have to be hardships. They don't have to be negatives. So it's all positive. You look for the blessings in everything. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love being able to talk to them every day. I love the opportunity that's been given me to come down here and do the thing I'm doing to try to push us a little further ahead. So there you go. Roger Rabbit, how you doing? I have to count my blessings daily, he says, to make sure I don't drown in my overthinking the unique challenges I've been given with Kinsey and Carly. I hear you, Roger. I look at some of the things you guys go through, some of the things you as a guy have to go through with your family, and I say, wow, that's taxing. But you got to look for the blessings. You got to talk about, and I've never seen you guys as being so buried in the things that are the hard things that you don't know, you and Carly, how to look for the blessings. And the blessings of life, the blessings of love, the blessings of happiness. So we talk about our blessings more than our problems. We can bury the people around us by focusing on our problems. So, needs always before wants. You're a great man, Roger, says Matt, and I agree with him. Doug says, Roger, you're a very good man, and while you have a lot on your plate, God has put you in that position because he knows you are a blessing to Carly and to Kenzie. And I would agree with all of that. There used to be a biblical verse for those of you who are biblically inclined, and it just pops in my head. So, because this was part of who I was for so many years of my life, and it comes back to you right away. And so I figure when things pop into my head, I like to share them. There's a Bible verse. I could not tell you the reference, where to find it, chapter and verse right now, or even what book it's in. I think it's part of the Pauline writings, where it talks about God will never allow you to be tempted or tested above that what you are able to bear. But with those testings and temptations and however you want to label them, also make a way of escape. And we used to quote that to say, there isn't anything that comes down my way that I don't have the ability to tackle, that I don't have the ability to look for the blessing. Not fake it. Sometimes you have to fake it to make it, but I'm not talking about fake bravado. And you know the difference when you see it. But just to say, hey, yeah, we're having a tough time, but you know what? We got each other. Isn't that looking for the blessing? We're going to make it. We're going to do this. We've got the intellect. We've got the ability. Might be with us the rest of our lives, but it's something we got to. So yeah, we've all got it. There it is. So there you are. Amen. I think you're saying amen to what I said, Corey. I'm not sure. But we all gather at camp to keep our hearts and brains good, says Kelly. That's right. Awesome. And there's so much. I remember I had my mentor, a guy named Bill Fisher. He's an older man. I always said he was an older man because I was a kid when I met him. I was 11. He was in my life till I was 15. He mentored me. He's the one that was the fireplace builder. I was his apprentice. He picked me up, brought me to church. I became a born-again Christian in the Baptist church because of him. We went camping together. We did all. He kind of became my surrogate father for a few years. And I always described him as being an old man. When I met him when I was 11, I was the age I am now. He was 60. He was the age I am now, 60. And I kind of look at that. My son Flynn is 11 and I'm 60. That's the same difference between Bill and I. And he got cancer. He got prostate cancer in there and passed away when he was 65. But I look at him and I remember the last couple of weeks he was alive. They had him in a care center of some kind, hospice care, not hospice, just it was like a hospital, but it was a care center because they knew he was going. And he didn't say much to me about that. And there was one day, and I was told this story. I don't remember if this was a response he gave me or somebody that I knew at the church, one of the pastors. And I was just a kid. I was 15 at the time, 16 when he passed away. And he was asked, Bill, how you feeling today? Oh, I think I was there with one of the pastors visiting Bill. And he said, how you feeling today? And Bill, his response, he looked up, he had his glasses on. You could tell he didn't feel good. And what he said was, he quoted this Bible verse. Bill, how you feeling today? And he looked up and he said, my grace is sufficient for you. Whether in weakness or sickness, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact verse. My grace is sufficient for thee. For whether I be sick or healthy, he says, God's hand is there. And he's the one who maintains me and so on. And that was his answer. And so that was him looking for the blessing of things. And yes, I do. I'm being asked if I want something from McDonald's. It's a fast food morning because nobody feels like cooking. We cooked spaghetti here last night and stuff.
Tacos the night before.
Yeah, tacos the night before. Is it still breakfast? No, it's lunch at McDonald's already. It's 10:30. So, folks, pardon this little familial intro. My son, come on over and say hi to those who didn't see you a bit earlier. You still haven't combed that biff in your hair.
It is our day off.
It's day off.
I'm not doing nothing today.
You should have seen him before he got his hair cut. So
it's worse than this.
Yeah, worse than that. So let's see. What do I want from McDonald's? If you're going to McDonald's, why don't you get me, folks? What should I get at McDonald's? I mean, seriously. Hey, Scott Allen, good to see you. I didn't see you there earlier. How about a Big Mac? I'll do a Big Mac.
Okay.
And large fry. And I got stuff to drink here. Water.
Why don't you come with?
Because I'm gonna wrap up this radio show.
Okay.
Are you just going, or are you and Pete going?
Me and Pete are going.
You and Pete go. So Big Mac, large fry. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Big Mac, large fry, and give
small
me
Mac, small fry,
a large strawberry shake. Because I got stuff to drink here.
All right.
What's the for? Is Pete buying?
No. McDonald's shake machines are just always broken.
Oh, if there's no shake machine, don't give me a shake. I just haven't had a shake in like 6 months. So, okay, you got that? Repeat back to me. What do I want, Sam?
A Big Mac, large fry, going for breakfast. Yeah.
It's already 10:30. They have 24-hour breakfast?
I don't know if they do it till 11 or not. Saturdays and Sundays.
I think they changed all the all-day breakfast because of all the COVID stuff.
Well, that changes everything.
Well,
There you go, folks. Scintillating live podcasting.
If it's lunch, we'll get you lunch. If it's breakfast, we'll get you what you want for breakfast.
What I want for breakfast, I always like the. I haven't had breakfast at McDonald's. What do they call those? The nah, not McGriddle. What's the typical thing? What's the McDonald's breakfast? The
sausage, egg, and cheese.
sausage, egg, and cheese with
Sausage,
hash
egg,
browns.
McMuffin.
Sausage, egg. There it is, McMuffin. Thank you, Matt Finn. So
I said McMuffin first.
yeah, give me a McMuffin. Sausage, egg, cheese McMuffin.
All right.
And hash browns.
And hash browns.
That's right.
It's not breakfast if there's no hash browns.
Not breakfast if there's no hash browns. By the time you guys are back, I'll probably be done doing radio with you guys. So there you go. So you got my lunch order if they're doing lunch. You got my breakfast order if they're doing breakfast.
Exactly.
Thank you, folks, for your input. Thank you, Matt Finn, for that. So Elder Barry, how you doing? Good to see you, Elder Barry. And nice shirt. I'm not sure is it Sam or me. I've just got my typical Think sweatshirt on today. Sam's got his glow in the dark shirt on. So yeah, I'm not sure about the 24-hour breakfast. I'm really not. They're thinking Sunday morning. I think Pete insisted that it's still breakfast because he wants breakfast, but it's already 10:32. I think breakfast is done. So in fast food. How about you guys? You want to live longer? You want to be happy? Don't eat fast food. Every time I have fast food, I'm reminded why I don't eat fast food anymore. And I have it rarely. But we had it once coming up, and I didn't even eat the cheeseburger. The cheeseburger went in the fridge. I think Pete may have eaten it when I got here. But I like French fries. French fries are good. Haven't had a shake in ages, so it sounds good. Doesn't a strawberry shake sound good right now? Strawberry shake with steaming hot French fries. Does that sound good? That sound like a good meal. And the Big Mac, I can take them or leave them, but yeah, Morgan, I tend to not eat fast food that much anymore. Once in a blue moon. My kids like a Big Mac every now and then, or a cheeseburger, and it's easy sometimes. Let's go get burgers for the kids. We're out. Let's stop and get burgers so we don't have to cook tonight. Me, I'd rather go home and make stuffed green peppers, but then my kids don't always eat those. They don't eat green peppers. They'll take all the innards out, all the the rice and meat and tomatoey, oniony dish that you make and stuff all the peppers with, and put red sauce all over, and they'll eat that, but then they avoid the peppers, so the peppers go to waste. You put yogurt in your stuffed peppers? Susie Q? Field says I could walk in the drive-thru. Yeah, I tend to not like fast food anymore. My body, diabetic, all the stuff going on with the heart, I don't eat a lot of fast food. It's just not for me anymore. My daughter, Abby, set me up with this company, and I don't remember what the name of it is. It started arriving the week I had COVID. She said, Dad, I want you to try this good food. You have to do a little prep work, but something Blue Apron, she called it, and I don't know if that's the name of the company because I didn't see that name on one of the boxes that's sitting outside. But it's got all your meals. They're all set up. You open this really cool box, and it's a padded box that comes, it's about that big and like that and that deep. And it's got meals for a week, I think. And they're all in little paper bags, little plastic containers. They're all labeled, what's what, and the veggies are here. Then you lift the bottom section up. There's a big padded section, and there's all your meats because they shipped it. And you got to refrigerate those right away. So if you've got chicken thighs or chicken breasts or whatever it might be, beef and so on, put that all in the fridge. And anything that's perishable, And then they all have, and there's little stuff like this. They're like little plastic jars that look like this, full of your seasonings and your sauces and all of that. And I made something once. It was chicken breast, and it had little cubed squash in one of the containers. And it had, you pour the squash in, you start browning it, you add their seasoning cup to it and the sauce they gave you. And then it wasn't kale, it was some kind of green. Maybe it was kale. But you take that and you chop it up. You have the big leaves of it. Chop it up and you throw it in until it wilts. And so you got all the wilted greenery that's mixed into the sauce and the softened squash. And then you do the chicken, you brown the chicken, you throw the spice on it that they include. Then you mix it all together. I tell you what, that was a fabulous meal. My daughter's been sending me those boxes. And she says, I want you to eat right. And I only brought that up because eating right. Fast food is tough on me these days. You want to get my system clogged up really quick, throw some fast food in. So Doug says, I suggest you get a pressure cooker if you can. We've got one of those at home, those mini pots, or they're called something else. There's the mini pot, and then Raini has the big, it's a pressure cooker. It's a modern pressure cooker, all digital, And we do a lot of stuff in that. That's very cool. You can take a beef roast from raw to finished in 20 minutes in a pressure cooker. You throw in your potatoes and all your stuff. And we've done soups in that thing. Yeah, I got to get one of the Instapot, I think it's called. Instapot. That's a good suggestion, Doug. When you all come for gumbo, I'll have my wife give you some pressure cooker recipes. Outstanding. Yeah, I think that's one of the things we need to get. Slow cooking in my bean pot is fantastic. I'll bet it is, Steph. See, everything's an innuendo. But that's just going back to the sassy thing, Steph. So my wife will give you the Mississippi roast in a Mississippi roast of Mississippi chicken. Nice. All for that. Kelly says my favorite foods are veggie and fruits, but seeds and skins are a no-no. Hard to gain health sometimes. Yeah. My chiropractor, who is also a physical therapist and health freak, nutritionist, that's the word I'm looking for. He told me leans, greens, nuts, and seeds. That's what you eat. And so, that's harder to freaking laughed so hard out loud. There you go. All right, Steph. Then my job is done here. See, sexy's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be shunned. Life is to be enjoyed and to be happy and to find fun in everything. And I'm not talking about fun I'm jumping around a little bit here. I'm doing my ADHD radio thing here, but fun is not, I don't mean by fun is to be frivolous and irresponsible. We have obligations. We have responsibilities. We fulfill those. But since we all know we got them, why not enjoy them? Make them fun. So there you go. And I don't believe in the life is not supposed to be fun. I don't believe in the no-win scenario. That's a Kobayashi Maru thing, if you get that reference. Did you mean honeypot not being hot? Honeypots are always hot. So everyone likes Mississippi roast. I don't know that I've ever had Mississippi roast. I don't know what's different about that. So yeah, we'll probably pick up one of those Instapots. I think what are they? I can't remember what they cost. I think Raini got ours for like $40 or something like that. Maybe it was $30. Pick up one of those to have here in the camper. That's a great way to cook, and you don't have to really fuck around with stuff. Pardon my French. For those of you who have sensitive ears. Yeah, don't try to get too graphic. Keep it light and fun. Damn straight. Damn straight. And you know what? Everything is an innuendo when you think about it. Anything you say can be twisted into an innuendo. Anybody seen my wife in here today? Has Raini stopped in at all today? I don't know if she's listening. I tagged her in all of this, but I didn't want to call her in case she was still sleeping. Hey, Delaney, you're going to go to your mother-in-law's for lunch. Right on. Hey, guys, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to get one more cup of coffee for our last segment of today's show. So you guys sit tight for a minute. I'll be right back. I'm going to get some fresh coffee. Hang on. Talk amongst yourselves. I think I'll just do a whole brand new cup of coffee. Make it so. You can probably still hear me in here. I'm still here. Just gonna make some coffee. You know what else I need? I don't just need an Instapot. I need a French press. We've got one of those Keurig machines here, and it's great. You do a cup at a time. There we go. So my coffee is brewing right now in the Keurig. But you know, I think I need to get a French press. I love French press coffee. We were at the client's yesterday, whose house is just an utter disaster because it was ruined by the storms. He's got his new roof on, and they're now getting everything cleaned out, but every room has to be redone, something in it. And everything, and it's a disaster, and it smells like cats, and everything's dirty, everything's gross. And he's got all his belongings. He and his wife's piled into one room and this room and that room, and they're trying to do things bit at a time. In about a week, that thing will be all done with our company taking over there. And so, but he brewed us some French press yesterday. And I went, oh, I have not had French press in a while. And guys, if you haven't had French press coffee, if you're coffee drinkers, you haven't lived till you've had a good French press. So, who was there? I'm sorry. Susie Q. Oh, Rainey was here. I didn't see her. See, I was talking and I missed her. Damn it. I didn't get to see her. So she stopped in this morning. I'm just scrolling back. Did she say hi? And I'm assuming she said hi if everybody knew she was here. Oh, I feel very bad about that I missed her. So, I don't see it. So, anyway. Rainey, if you're still out there listening, come and say hi. So, maybe she messaged me and told me. No, it says, love you too. That was from last night. So, anyway, Rainey, if you're still out there, come and say hi. So, anyway, there. I think I just heard my coffee is done already. But French press, you gotta have a grinder. You gotta get whole bean. And before you think, oh, that's so much work, everything, not everything has to be instant. Not everything has to be. Now, Instapot, that's coming right off of segueing off talking about Instapot. Talking about a pressure cooker where you can do a roast and everything, all the garnish with it, potatoes, everything, carrots, and you can do that all up in 20 minutes. That's okay for me. Instead of cooking a roast and waiting for 4 hours, sometimes prep time is good. Sometimes doing things is good. Making things, it's fun. It's take the time to make something. French press coffee. You buy the bag of beans instead of the ground coffee. You get a grinder. You pour your beans in the grinder. You grind it up for 10 seconds. Probably a little less. You want a little coarser for a good French press. And you pour your freshly ground coffee, chunkier ground coffee, into the French press. It's just a carafe. And you boil your water. You put your boiling water. You fill it up with those beans in it. And you let that sit in there for about 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. Then you take it's got a device on it that's got a screen in it. your plunger, and you plunge that all down. The grounds to the bottom, and the fresh coffee rises to the top. And then you drink that. Oh my God. That is coffee heaven. So I got to pick myself up a French press. And they're inexpensive because they're not electronics. They're not high tech. You can get really expensive ones because they look cool. You can get $8 ones, that are plastic. I personally would probably go up into the $15 to $20 range for a good one. Percolators are cool. Percolator, I don't even know her. Ouch. I just scratched my leg is bleeding. How about that for scintillating live podcasting? I don't know what I just did. I nailed something. So, yeah, percolator. That's a great way to make coffee. We use a percolator on the open fire sometimes. When we were doing our reenacting, we would take coffee, bean or ground. I mean, it would be freshly ground bean. We'd throw it into the pot, the big stew pot. Boil the water, throw the coffee in, strain it, and drink it. That's the way we did our coffee. Sassy, you always know what to say to drive us crazy. Oh, I don't mind being a perk. The perkiness of our conversations this morning. So I'm sorry I missed my wife in the chat room. Damn. I'm going to go grab my cup of coffee. Hang on. You'll be able to hear me, I think, from a distance over there. So, we're in 425 feet of square feet of living space. So walking over to get my coffee isn't like my house, where I got to walk all the way over to the other end of the house in the building to grab my coffee. And so now I got fresh, hot coffee. Pete and Sam are off getting McDonald's breakfast for us. And we'll be wrapping up here pretty soon with this show. I would grab my... Hang on a second. I'm going to see if I have my tarot cards here. I don't really have much room for doing it. They might be in my other bag, which I think they are. Yep, they're not in here. Nope. Paint. All right. Coffee. I thought I'd do a tarot card for the day for us, for the week, whatever we want to do with that. And but I don't find them. They're in my other bag somewhere. So you see the coffee bubble. Bibble, bubble, toil, and trouble. So fresh coffee. Cheers. So there we go. That's old school, the percolator. Yes. Where you see the bubble in the glass top. Yes. It's usually a carafe, and it's got the, the little pointed spout on the top, and the big handle, and the lid, and then you got the glass bubble on the top. So there we go, folks. We've got almost 2 hours today. Can you believe that? Talking about nothing. Sunday mornings is the show about nothing. And we make it into whatever we want it to be. And so, and look, my laptop has held up. I think it's my graphics card is shot on this. So we're going to get that taken care of. They're back with McDonald's already. So you know what I think I'm going to do? We're going to wrap this up. So we've been going for an hour, and I'm going to be disappointed.
You might be. Wait, what? No. You just do your radio show. We're going to just disappoint you.
Oh, you're going to disappoint me? Way to go. They're working on disappointing me. He said, finish your show. So make it a good one, or you're putting it back and drawing another one. There it is. Dome on top. Our personal version of Seinfeld. Yeah, pretty much, Roger. That's what we do on Sundays here. So I want to thank you all for being here. I got Adobe Flash Player wants to update. No, thank you. Pops up in the middle of my show. As I've said, for those of you who were new today, if you're still here watching this show for the first time on a Sunday, Sunday mornings are not our formal radio show. It's our informal, just chat amongst ourselves, have a good time on Sunday morning. It started out to be like a half an hour to an hour on Sunday, and it's expanded into about 2 hours every Sunday. It's always nice to have Raini here next to me, and she's not here now. We'll hopefully get set up this week, so by next week, Raini will be able to join me at least in a split screen. Gonna watch the game tonight? What game? Sorry, I'm not. I'm not watching the game tonight. Yeah, it's good to be back here with the Intrepid family. Roger, thank you very much. And, well, thank you, Steph. I'm always a great time. Ask my wife. Sometimes I'm a great time for a short time. Sometimes I'm a great time for a long time. But I'm always a great time. Yes, I'm going to be working on my book, Matt. I want to get that finished. I have not fallen into regular routine here yet. Just the last couple of days, it feels like we're starting the rudiments, the foundations of routine here. And it's going to get quite busy here over the next few weeks as we start closing more deals and doing more housework and stuff like that. So, house building work. So, master of the 8-second ride. There it is. It's like rodeo. See if you can hang on for 8 seconds when you get the prize. Sorry, folks. That's a semi-dirty joke for those of you who have sensitive ears. You know what we're talking about. Yeah, you own that shit, says Steph. Exactly. And thank you, Matt. Yes, please visit my website. You can see what I do. One of the other things I do for a living, I write books. I do illustrations and graphics and design work. And now I'm also working here. So I can fill my time with this, which I intend to do down here, but I still will have time to do illustration and design work and finish my book, as Matt Finn asked. We're going to get that done and to my agent. So hopefully we'll see that published later this year. So I'll tell you more about that as we get closer. I got to finish it first. So you have a diner, coffee store, and restaurant here down on Main Street at the Main Light. All right. I love Little Greasy Spoon. It may not be a greasy spoon. I love little diners and little towns. You always get good food there. Doug said, Scotty will be my illustrator when I get closer. Outstanding, Doug. Can't wait. It'll be fun. And the official home of The Simpsons. That's your diner? Elderberry says, boobage. Pictures. I don't know who that was directed to, Elderberry, but I will say one of the blessings of life is boobs. And I mean that in all sincerity. So I'm not closing the show on a slightly off color note. That's just a beautiful thing about life. I've even got them. They're just man boobs. So mine aren't as nice as Raini's and everything. And we all know that. And I'm just saying that to state the case, but they're a good thing. They always make life happier. If you can focus on the happy things in life, where's my happy place? I know right where my happy place is. And so all of you, I hope you take advantage of your happy places this week. I hope you take advantage of looking at the things that would normally come out of you as being negatives and say, you know what, there's a hell of a lot of blessing here too. And so talk about the blessings. I'm going to challenge you. Those of you who are friends of mine on Facebook and social media, I want you to go on there today. Talk about something that's a blessing for you. It doesn't have to be an essay. It can be a sentence long, a phrase long. Post something and tag me in it or post it on my wall. Tell me about your blessings today. And what I mean, don't be trite about it. I'm not talking about, football's my blessing. Well, maybe it is. But I'm talking about things that you would normally complain about. Give me the inverse of that. Give me the blessing. Tell me about it. And so do that. I challenge you all to do that today. Every one of you hearing me who's on my Facebook, post something to my wall today about what a blessing is that you have. And oh, you don't have on my last Instagram post. Oh, no FB for me. Oh, I'm sorry. Do it through Carly's if you want, Roger. So there you go, guys. I want to thank you all for being here. It is 10:55. We're going to wrap this now. This week, hopefully, not hopefully, we will be back tomorrow night for Intrepid Radio. Hopefully, we'll get it done the right way and everything will work just fine and so on. And but we'll be set up one way or the other. And so all this week, Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and 7 p.m. West Coast Time. And something like tomorrow in the afternoon, Australia time, for all of my Australian friends. Join me for the Intrepid Radio program. You can go to the Odyssey Radio Network, ODYSY1.com, for just the audio, or you can join us over here on the live YouTube chat stream. Join the chat room and watch the show here. So thanks for being here today. You guys all go out and have a great day today. Russ, good to see you again. There he is at the end. Russ owns the radio station, the network, Odyssey Radio. So when I say we're going to have a show all this week, Russ comes in and says, yay. So because we've had, with the COVID thing and then with the relocating down here and all of that, it's been a rough month or so, several weeks of having regular shows. So I used to take great pride with Intrepid Radio to say for about that first year and a half almost of saying, hey, we've only missed one show in a year and a half. Now in the last couple of months, we missed a lot of shows, a lot of live shows. So we're going to get back on schedule here. So thank you all for being here. Join me for the show this week and a regular bat time, same bat channels. And if you can't afford membership, come anyway and support the show. We love you all. That's true, Doug. That's right. The show is always free. There's no charge for the show. But if you want to become a member of this show, it's only over my YouTube that you can do that. Hit the join button down below, and you can see 3 different ways you can become a member and help support this show. So thank you all for being here. Thanks, everyone. If I missed you somehow in the chat room and didn't say hello, hello to you and goodbye, because we're going to wrap it now. And Odyssey1.com, ODYSY1.com. Go over there and see all the goodness that's Odyssey Radio. And yes, folks, live long and prosper. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good day. Ending stream now. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. See ya.